serving love, protecting life within the indigenous peoples of the continent, and a special relationship to the Western Gate at Point Conception. Violations of law by Santa Barbara County in 1998, followed by disregard for the Freedom of Information Act in April of 2000, left the public without means to detect unconscious manipulation or without methods to treat severe psychosis which may stem from hypnotic manipulation. And on February 23, 2001, the neglect to lawful and reasonable recognition or development or treatment of the unconscious mind cost the lives of 4 innocent people in Isla Vista, California. David Attias, at age 18, the son of the television producer of the series, Ally McBeal, had driven his Saab 900 Turbo at 65 miles per hour through 5 people on Sabado Tarde Street in Isla Vista, California. Emerging from his vehicle in the carnage of the street, he cried out, "I am the angel of death." The Santa Barbara County Mental Health Department had tried to treat him earlier, but without meaningful success. In the jail, he screamed the phrase, "I am the angel of death," over and over.
In May of 2001, I was in Santa Barbara County Jail when they brought in that David Attias, the angel of death. This man, he kind of changed the whole jail for like about 4 months, as long as I was in there. You know, he was screaming and yelling. They finally would put him in the rubber room, squirt you down until you finally give up. Well, he just said that he was put on this earth to do what he did, and he accomplished it. He sees no reason why that he had to suffer any punishment, because that's what God sent him down here to do. And he could make a phone call on that one too, and everything could be straightened out.
The television series dealt with the unconscious primordial female instincts as depicted using a computer-animated baby that occasionally, mysteriously, as if a vision or hallucination, is seen dancing.
All right, Mr. Huggy, you want to dance? Let's go.
The people around this young man knew he had severe mental problems before this tragedy, but the treatments available were useless. An amicus curiae was filed in the resulting murder case at the Santa Barbara Superior Court and served upon the attorneys of record with an affidavit as required by form. The amicus brief was unsupported by the public interest or the defendant, leaving the Santa Barbara public open to further tragedy. That amicus of December 3, 2001 was not the first one filed, as was stated in its affidavit. The district attorney also declined to use the information of the amicus curiae of another earlier case, SB 191832, an arson case, then yet another a month later, SB 1011641, all stating that the amicus has information that may also concern many other events in the jurisdiction of the court that present a threat to the security of persons and property. February 1, 2006, at a Goleta, California mail processing plant at 3:01 a.m., Jennifer San Marco, regarded as a disturbed and erratic woman at a plant where she once worked and returned, killing 5 people before turning the gun on herself in what has been called the worst workplace killing by a woman in U.S. history. Rudy Gomez at the mail processing plant said they saw Miss San Marco's behavior grow stranger during her time there after an apparent breakup with a coworker. She was carrying on animated conversations when she was the only one around. Mr. Tabala said she sometimes used profanity and seemed to hear voices. In Milan, New Mexico, where she had a home at the time, a businessman said he sometimes had to pick her up and bring her inside from the cold because she would kneel down and pray, as if in a trance, for hours. Our modern populations seem to forget these incidents or ignore any opportunity to observe that something unconscious could be controlling events, while across the modern world, situations might be seen as driven by some type of unconscious compliance. Logically, anthropology should have endeavored to understand the culture and society of the Chumash people on the deepest levels psychologically, because their oral histories are contained there. To learn about them, that is the place to look. In March of 2001, a request that the winter solstice shrine Anapane be identified and the practices of the Chumash relating to winter solstice be understood by the anthropology department of UCSB is ignored. Finally, by a telephone call inquiring, it is learned that such identification will only be done if Chumash people request it. It could appear to be an intentionally exploited paradox as the final, more passive enforcement method to silence. Since 1876, in the mass insanity that worked to logically compensate for the dangerous ignorance of the unconscious existence imposed with H.R. 2204, in violation of all treaty with deprival of courts of jurisdiction, followed with lethal persecution against so many Chumash people in the process of targeting the Antap, as described or shown in CIRCA, that the keepers of the Western Gate became disabled from presenting the truth of their winter solstice and oral histories as a part of survival, unless everyone listening is in a trance. We have defined a spiritual chasm, a spiritual rift or separation, requiring a bridge of understanding, enabled freedom of speech. This series of documentaries and what they share of Turtle Island of today. All of this revealed in the territory of the coastal Chumash people, who, for the most part, embody the keepers of the Western Gate. Recently, within weeks of the beginning of the Gap Fire, July 1st, 2008, the area of a summer solstice shrine near the Grandmother Shrine has been vandalized with graffiti. The spiritual intents and orientation are clear. Conversely, Chumash people have tried to gain legal access by compliance with controlling governmental agencies, regulation, or written requests for access to conduct ceremony and are often impeded or ignored. The position seems to discourage the natives from visiting their traditional areas of religious worship and perhaps rediscovering spiritual protections or tribal unity not known since genocide and persecution forced them to relinquish their practices in those areas. Properly enacted legal guidelines and policy required for interaction with the tribal people concerned seem forgotten. Sacred areas remain largely unprotected and deteriorate from vandal damage, reducing the possibility of continued ceremony at some time.